They say music feeds the soul and food feeds the heart. So please join us for season 2 of Brunch with a Black Man, where we sit down with black men from across the world who talk about their experiences with mental health, mental wellness, and how they are taking on their own mental health journey. We sit down over brunch to break it down. Make sure you join us for season 2 of Brunch with a Black Man. Hello and welcome to another edition of Brunch with a Black Man. I am your host, Miracle Jones, and today we're sitting down with Haron Hargrave. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. All is well. You know what I mean? I'm feeling good. Good spirits.
Good spirits. So let's get right into it. How's your day going, and what makes you really excited to sit down with us today?
My day's going pretty well. I've been doing a little promo for my upcoming Ballin for Peace event that I have, our annual celebrity charity event. This year, the 9th annual. So getting calls like that to do shows like this is always a good thing. So my spirits was even higher to know that I'm going to be sitting down with you today.
And so we're going to get into your event and the amazing work that you're doing. We're going to rewind just a little bit.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about where you grew up and what your life was like.
I grew up, I'm from Jamaica, Queens, South Side Jamaica, Queens. I grew up in, that era, the crack era, right? But my upbringing, my mom, she was a teacher for over 25 years at Springfield Gardens High School. My upbringing was, a single family home. It's 5 of us, but my mother made sure that we were good and super independent people, right? So I loved it. She really worked really hard, and she embodied what a parent is supposed to be,
And you talk about growing up, you're one of 5,
You're one of
right?
5.
How was that? Because I feel like when you have siblings, you have like your own like little world. You have the real world, but then it's like you and your siblings.
So I have 3 older sisters, right, and my younger brother, right. So my younger brother, me and him was we're a lot closer. My older sisters, they're like 10 years older than me, and then I have my middle sister. She's like 2 years older than me. Me and her were really close. So we like to say, like, this is me and my other sister. We feel like we made chopped cheese. Like, it's random, but like we feel like we made up chopped cheese because we used to chop up the hamburgers and put like the cheese on top of it. And we used to like that's what we used to eat. Like, we used to make that. So but that's like a sidebar. That's super sidebar. But we used to do like creative stuff as kids to have fun, right? But my upbringing, my sisters were older. I didn't really like spend time with them at all. So like I really did a lot of stuff on my own. Like, my mother used to do basketball tournaments and things like that, but basketball became my outlet, and I just played. And I used to go to the parks and in my backyard and just played basketball. So it was like, even though I had it was 5 of us, I felt like it was just me at times. You know what I mean? I felt, because I was doing the things that I like to do, they had no interest in that. Like, they're girls. They can't really tell you what to do. And then my dad wasn't there. He left when, I was 3. Me and him have a great relationship now. I love him, a lot dearly, but he wasn't there, like, to show me how to do things. So I was raised by women. You know what I mean?
And so you're raised by women. You're trying to figure out the things that you like to do. How did you find like music, or did music find you?
So music is super dope, but my outlet was sports. My outlet was basketball, right? So music and ties into the community, right? It ties into a lot of things, but my specific outlet was sports, was basketball, right? I played Division I ball, played overseas, played high school, played middle school, elementary. So like, kind of sports kept me tunnel vision. And music tied into that because, certain artists that I used to listen to, and I still do, like Nas and things like that. Being from Queens, you had to pick either Jay-Z or Nas, right? So it's always like Nas is one of my favorite. He always talked about like what was actually going on in the community and stuff that I could relate to, So musically, that was somebody that I really like tapped in with. And 50 Cent, you know what I mean? Being from Southside Queens, I went to school, junior high school, across the street from where he lived at, in that area, and so music definitely tied into my upbringing.
And so thank you so much. This looks amazing. And so you are someone who's very tapped into sports, and you have this like tunnel vision like for your life.
Yeah.
When was like the first time you started to see conversations around like mental health and wellness?
That wasn't really like a thing, right? When coming, growing up, it was like, and especially as a man, it's like just man up, right? You get it that it's like you can't really like live or live in your feelings, right? Some of the craziest things can happen to you. You have to get over them. Like even now to this day, like I've lost so many people um, that was there to me, right? I lost my mom, I lost my grandmother, I lost my best friend, lost my god brothers, my godmother. Like I sometimes when I have success, I look around and like, who can I really share it with? So it's then you find people and then you realize like even stuff that you do in your daily life, like I wasn't doing that before because those people that were pillars in your life are no longer there. So you kind of like, and then I traveled a lot. So, but you don't really I don't really get too many mental health check-ins as far as that. I just have to kind of keep going. And what I do is I kind of just keep working, keep grinding, put, my one foot in front of the other and just keep going. But sometimes, I have those days where I just like break down silently, privately, like by myself, but nobody really knows because I'm that like strong friend that people depend on. But when it comes down to it, I don't really have someone that I can depend on when it comes down to it, to be honest with you. But so mental health check-ins is like checking in with yourself a lot of the time. It's mental health, right? You're checking in with your own mental and what you think is positive or negative, right? So, and from the world's perception of it, right? Back in the days, it's like if you're going to meet with someone who's if you're talking to a therapist, something wrong with you, you're crazy or something like that. But sometimes even like this, it just feels good to just talk about it. Like so, yeah. But that was something that I never really tapped in with. But and again, around that talk of mental health, it was always like, oh, something's wrong with this person. This person's like crazy or cuckoo, like But and I ask people, how's your mental? How's your on like a daily question now, like you know what I mean? Because the importance. I know the importance of mental health.
And so you talked about having to learn that importance and be like, you know what? Nothing is wrong with me. Everybody's going through
Yeah.
something. My brain, is a muscle because coming from sports, you have to be in shape. You have to condition. You have to make sure you're stretching. And that's the same thing that goes with your mind and your mental. And you talked about being able to travel. How was that like for you? Because, you're growing up, you're, with your siblings, you have like your own thing, but you're there. And now it's like, oh, I have this gift and I get to go abroad.
Yeah.
So like how was separating and creating your own identity for you?
So it was super good. So college was the first time I went to California. I went to school in California. I went to Chafee and Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Okay.
That's a real place. I found that out when I got recruited there. Before that, I thought it from next Friday. Like it was like you talk about it like day and all that stuff. So funny story about that. Like the coach called me while I was in California. I was at another school, LACC, Los Angeles Community College. I was going to go there for 2 years and then go off to D1. Things wasn't working out. The coach called me from Chafee and was, his name is Jeff Klein. Shout out to Coach Klein. And he called me. He's got a funny voice. He's like, hey, it's Jeff Klein. I'm like, what? And back then, people used to play on your phones and everything like that. So I like hung up on him like 3 times. Like, stop playing on my phone, hung up. Until one of the trainers that I was training out here in New York, who sent me out there, was like, the coach is calling you, keep hanging up, and like, what's going on? So I called him back, and wound up being one of the best decisions I made in my life was going out to Rancho to Chafee, and just being able to be somewhere else. Like you go from Southside Jamaica, Queens, to being in mountains and just areas where you're like, you can actually think and breathe, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, like this New York rat race is like so fast, and you're like doing so much stuff. And like in California, I can take naps, right? I can go there, like literally take a nap. My day slows down a little bit, and that was the first time that I was like, man, I could just focus on basketball in school, right? And so that helped me. And then from going to Chafee, I earned a scholarship to go to Sacramento State Division One, Big Sky Conference. Damian Lillard, he also played at that conference. A guy named Rodney Stuckey, and I wound up leading my team in scoring, breaking 3-point records my senior year. Newcomer of the year, runner up for my junior year. So I was able to, we at the time we broke the team record for most wins. But I equate that to actually being able to be in a space where I can just focus on the things that I really love the most, and being in New York, it was just, you're focusing on, not doing the wrong things because everybody's doing the wrong things, and kind of to get out of that space where you're, and your friends, right? Some people, when you start being really good at something, like a sport, to where you're getting recruited and things like that, you notice that your friends, they're not that good. They're not as good as you were. So it can be two things. They can support you in your journey, or they can like disband, right? And then just go somewhere else. So a lot of that, and then you get jealousy because you keep going. You don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff, and and you get alone and you get locked in. Like sports, basketball specifically, can be a very lonely sport. Even though you have a team, it's a team game. To get better, you have to put in a lot of work by yourself. It's only now into this era where people are filming everything that they're doing. Back then, I didn't care for people to know what I was doing to separate myself from them. You know what I mean? So, but going to California, that was the biggest step that kind of made me into a man. I feel like I became a man going to school in California, and then after that, earning, where I can get paid, and I played professionally overseas, different countries: Romania, Hungary, China, Mexico City, Puerto Rico, Colombia. So I was able to do that, and then started playing 3-on-3. I'm a pioneer for 3-on-3 basketball, which is now an Olympic sport. Now they have like Jimmer Fredette and all these other people playing it, but I've been playing that since 2012, right? Not to age myself, but yeah, I was one of those pioneers that started 3-on-3 basketball, and it's still growing in the U.S., but overseas, I played in something 2 weeks ago, like in Puerto Rico, still, because I just love the game, and me and my brother have been doing that for a very long time. So sports has been my outlet to even things that are going on with me mentally. Like I know when I'm on this court for whatever hours or time, I'm locked in. Same thing with the gym. Like working out is very big for me. I was doing spin classes, getting into yoga and stuff like that. Definitely during that pandemic time, I used to go hiking and things like that. Kind of just get your mind off of what the reality is right now. So just get away from that.
And so you're locking in the gym, being physical. What caused you to say, like, as I'm being blessed with these opportunities, I want to give back to my community?
That's taught. That's learned behavior. Like my mother did that. Again, she worked at Springfield Gardens High School for over 25 years. Even when I do my NYC Elite 32, we do like holiday classics. We get 32 high schools. This year we had 32 varsity boys high schools that participated. Two of the teams that participated won their championships. Lehigh regional team, they won their regional championship, and Summit Academy from Brooklyn, they won the boys and girls. They played in the championship and won for the PSAL. So having the likes of those people, understanding what's going on, having your post to what's actually happened, and actually giving out scholarships. I was on Pix 11. I brought up one of the kids who won a scholarship. So those are the things, giving them light, giving them more shine, and especially now because of all these NIL deals and stuff like that, high school players aren't getting recruited to go to college, because now college sports is the biggest professional sport, if you think about it, because they're getting paid to play. There are way more opportunities to play in college than there is to play in the NBA. It's only 30 teams in the NBA, right? You do the math, it's only like 360 active players 450 players total. That's not something to think about. Right now, people used to run to try to go and play in the NBA. Now people are staying in college, and they're gonna add a fifth year as well too. So colleges think about that money. So now, and even I played junior college. I talked about Chafee. My 2 years there wouldn't even count towards my 4 years in college now. But people don't realize that. I would have loved to be able to play 4 years in college and get paid generational wealth, like what they getting. I led my team in scoring. I broke records. People will say, "Oh yeah, you were a pioneer of that." No, I want my money. Like now that you're giving out money and stuff like that. But those are things that go to your mind too. It's like, dang, I really played college ball at the highest level, and I got not a dollar for it, right? You know, so, but yeah, so put that to the past, right? I did what I did, and just helping out these youth now, right? So, you know, a lot of the legwork that I did helps the future grow, and you know, but a lot of that I got from my mother. She used to do uh, um, talent shows at Springfield Gardens High School. I do the high school classic there. I do Ballin for Peace, the celebrity games, getting more eyes and ears on what's going on in our community because of all the senseless acts of violence that was going on. And we're 10 years in now, but the ninth celebrity game, because of COVID, we pivoted it a little bit. But I learned that behavior from my mom. My mother was, you know, God rest her soul, she was a beautiful soul, a beautiful person, and she started basketball tournaments. So like when I say everything is learned, it's learned. It starts at home, you know. So a lot of people are like, oh, this kid is this, that, and the third. He got into the real world, but his parents didn't have the guidance that they needed to have over him. And I really believe that. And now that I am a parent myself, I'm just kind of trying to give my kid everything that I didn't have and more, right?
So you mentioned Bowling for Peace a couple of times. That's your, you know, we'll say that's not your second baby.
That's my first baby.
Your first baby. But how did you come up with like, okay, let me bring both of my worlds together? Like, what was that thought process behind that?
It was actually easy, right? In a sense because, you know, our nation tries to divide us, right? But what I know is that team sports brings us together, right? So like I played professionally in Europe where I didn't even speak the same language, but we got together because of basketball. We had practices. We were able to talk through that orange basketball, right? So coming together for one, it's almost like pick up in the park, right? If I'm, you know, I'm picking up I got five. I don't know who you are, but I know what you can do, right? So I'm gonna pour into what you can do. Like Steph Curry is one of the best shooters in the world. I'm not gonna tell Steph Curry to go try to rebound or dunk the ball like Shaq or something like that. So I'm gonna use your strengths. So that's all I do is empower people with their superpowers, what they can do. And so Ballin for Peace came about because it was needed. It was the whole Mike Brown situation, Eric Gardner situation that was going on, a lot of killings in Queens and all over, Jam Master Jay. It was just a lot of stuff that was happening. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to just sit back and do nothing. I'm going to do something positive. And what I know brings people together is team sports because I played it, right? Same thing when it's the Olympics. It's USA, USA. And then when the Olympics is over, we're back to what? The chaos, the nonsense, the things that we have to worry about. So we actually know how to get along and make things happen. We just choose not to, right? And I say, and that comes from higher ups. But Ballin for Peace started it. The first event was at was at Baruch College. I like to have colleges because, you know, not to just have it in a local church or something like a little like community center. You want to do them in places where people feel important, right? So we did the first celebrity charity sporting event there, and it was crazy. It was during New York City Peace Week. Everybody came out. We had close to 2,000 people come out at Baruch. We had the who's of influencers. And, you know, my boy Graf, he was one of the people who helped me with that, getting some DJs and different people. He performed. I had him perform at halftime. And it just, like, it blew up. And I was like, man, I can't just, it was supposed to be like a one-off. But after that, it was like, man, like, you know, I didn't know I was going to become the face of peace, right? But, you know, bridging that gap between the cops and community and community and in the industry, and but I had to keep it going. There's some people who are in places to do these things with bigger platforms, but they don't because it's not in them, right? So, my mom put that stuff in me, and I saw it. My mother used to have she used to call it. Her name was Rhonda's Chicken Den, right? Mm-hmm. So she was a teacher as well, like I said. But on Fridays, she used to have her teacher's friend come over, $5 plates. She used to chicken, French fries, and like a fish fry. And my house was like the hookup house. Like she used to come up there, and I saw it. She used to get the Tyson fights. Everybody used to come around and they were disappointed because Tyson would knock people out like in 2 seconds. But they would everybody would come to my home. And so growing up, seeing that, it just made it, I started doing events, basketball tournaments, just going off of what my mom did. And when she passed away, it like hurt me a lot, so but I wanted to keep that going, right? Keep her name alive. That's why I speak about her so much, so yeah.
You talk about keeping, your mom's legacy alive. You've done this almost a decade now.
Yeah.
What has been like your proudest moment of looking at bringing all these people together, normalizing the conversations around peace, but also doing this violence interruption work?
So my thing is make peace cool, right? You try to make peace cool, right? Just the same way like they push everything, every initiative. It's an uphill battle, right? Because it's like even going to church. Sometimes, I used to go to Hillsong Church, and it was like a popular church, right? And people would say, "Oh, you going to that, that mixy church?" It's like it's church, right? You're still going to church, right? And I think people miss the message, right, of what you're doing, right? Some people feel comfortable at other places, right, in certain places, but at the end of the day, if the message is being heard, is being delivered, and when I realized that, what I say isn't going to, I can't change anybody, right? I can't change anybody. But when I realized that, then I felt better about what I was doing, because sometimes you do stuff and you're like, are they even getting it? But just continuing to grind and have something positive that you're pushing, right? I'm pushing peace, right? I'm trying to push something that most people feel uncomfortable talking about. You would think that I was cursing or something sometimes. Like even when it comes down to getting venues and stuff like that, how much pushback you get. It's so easy for me to go and do a hip hop concert or something like that and book out a venue. But then when you go into some of these schools and colleges, they give you so much pushback because it's like, it's a community event. Why are you, oh man, like it's like as if I'm bringing murderers or something like that in there. So that's been some of the biggest pushback that I've got from, it's been actually from the access or the lack thereof of having access to these places that people kind of hoard and not give you the access when I'm pushing peace, when I'm pushing these Ballin for Peace events. So that's something that can get you like, man, forget it, I don't even want to do it no more. But then in the back of my head, I got to do it because my people need it. And they need to know, right? There's a lot of people who come around and you see them that get a hit song and that lit person for that 6 months. And then you look around, like even when it comes down to the process of me picking who's going to be a part of Ballin for Peace and who's it and what's going on, you kind of look back and it's like, man, these people, like, you don't even hear from them anymore. So to have that and that consistency of doing something positive, it's not about those people, right? It's about the community. It's about the people who want to be involved with Ballin for Peace. So, one of the first questions that I would get, who's going to be there? Like, who's the, like, bro, I don't even know right now. Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the people who want to be there will be there. Like 2 years ago, we had Whoopi Goldberg just pop up. Like she came through, like he came to the event and showed love. We had like Larry Johnson from the Knicks, John Stark. So these people who come, they want to be there, So yeah, that's that. I hope I answered your question with that.
You did, and I do think that is something that is shocking for a lot of people. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Shocking for a lot of people is that you do get pushback when you're trying to do good things. Because I think sometimes we do tell people, oh, don't do this bad thing anymore. It'd be so much
Yeah.
easier. But here you are, literally trying to to push for peace and fight for your community, and you're still getting that negative reaction. But I
Yeah.
am very happy that you keep going and you keep fighting. But you did talk about with your work and because of the loss that you have suffered in your life, what is your own check-ins, right? You said you don't necessarily have those group of people to check in with you. So how do you check in with yourself? What is that process like?
That process is a work in process, right?
Okay.
It's like a work in progress, I should say. Some things work, some things don't. You go through certain days and you're like, okay, that felt good. And you try to do that same thing the next day and it's like, it was mediocre. It wasn't what I thought it was. So the things that I do that work, if I could get a good workout in, like I didn't get a workout in before this um, uh, um, interview today, but I felt good on another level of having this interview.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things. Sometimes it's like, okay, cool. Again, like I said, being active, being busy. So those are the things that kind of like something I'm looking forward to doing. Right? Those are better days a lot of the times when I have something that I'm looking forward to doing. Um, my son, the birth of my son, that was very, very good for me and big for me because it allows me to have someone to pour into as well too, right? Give him life, give him, everything that I didn't have. So that's been like a real blessing for me. That's been really super, super dope for my mental, just allowing myself to everything that I have, my resources, being able to go into my boy, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and what it did for me too, having my son was, like, how are people not in their kids' lives? Like that was a check in that I kind of like, yo, that's weird, right? Even if you're not, financially able to be there, you can be there with your presence, right? And some things, so certain friends now who aren't in their child's lives, I haven't been speaking to them since I, have my boy, because it's like, that's a choice. I don't care about your child's mother, how she is, or whatever. You have a choice not to show up. And I cannot not show up now. Like, it's like, what? Nah, this is the best thing in the world, right? And I didn't know I was going to be like that because I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to have kids because I didn't want to bring a child into this crazy world, and that's just how I thought, So, but I knew I had to have a boy. It's a weird thing that I had my entire life before I had my baby boy. Is that I had to have a kid to keep my family name going. Because I have girls, right, and I have my brother, but we have different fathers. So to keep my family name going, like when I pass, my family name will be done. So it's like, I gotta have a kid. I have to have one, right? But I didn't know when and who or what, how it was gonna happen. Well, I knew how, like, but I didn't feel comfortable enough to do that. And it had nothing to do with any of the women prior to me having a child, but it was just more of a thing, whether I'll be ready for it. And I'm finding out you're never gonna be ready for a child, but just every day, like, so I'm a 4-month-old dad now, right? So every day I'm learning, feeling comfortable, even holding the baby, changing the baby now, like just feeding the baby, so came up with my own little nickname for him and everything too, that just came about, like, I had these thoughts before. I was gonna make him a junior, but I looked at him and I'm like, nah, I want him to have his own identity. So I took off the first letter of my name and added an A. So his name is Aaron. So like I gave him, and then that's also the first letter of my lady's name as well too. So incorporated her name as well. So it's Aaron Haron Hargrave. Right? So that's what his name is. But you every day is a different motivational aspect. But when I get up in the morning and I know that I got Ballin for Peace as well too, and now Aaron, it's like, yeah, I got to keep going. You know what I mean? So those are my motivational tactics in working out. Working out in no order, right? The order of, Aaron, bowl of peace, workouts, keeps your mind fresh. And, sometimes at night I just have my own little check-ins, right? Just checking with yourself, keep going, motivating myself, keep pushing, because if not me, then who? I don't really like look at other people and what they're doing. I can go crazy. You can go crazy by looking at other people's success, right? Because I say like this because some people have all the money in the world and miserable, and they look at me and like, why are you always happy? Like, why? I've had people ask me, you're always happy. Yeah, bro, I'm here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have another 24 to try to get my goal, right? That's it.
And you talk about like the work that you're doing, like checking in with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about like, oh, like I have the one baby, I can do some more, or are you just like, okay, the one is good?
So, I haven't thought about that, but like the process now is pretty cool. The process of having my baby boy has made me think about that again, and then you can see how like I don't think nobody would be like Nick Cannon,
Oh,
when
no.
he's wilding, but you kind of think about it like, yo, everybody needs to have this, like, it's like, but let me see how this one will look. This. But I don't have Nick Cannon money.
You about
so
to
I don't
have your
think
own basketball team.
I'll get my starting five and I'll be good. No, but I think that that has crossed my mind to having another child. You never know. Hey,
You have your own pick three team.
yeah,
Be like,
have my
listen.
big three. You know what I'm saying? Fit my 3-on-3. Me and my brother. So he broke the mold of having a boy in our family after 30 years. He was the first person in our family to have a boy. I have nothing but girls in my family. Even my nieces, I have just girls. So my brother broke the mold, and then 2 years later, and we're 2-3 years apart too. So, same thing. So now we're talking about our boys are gonna play 3-on-3 together. We're gonna do all this stuff together. So, but he's in Boston now. I'm here in Jersey and New York. So, yeah, but we're gonna figure that out.
Okay, so as you're figuring out for you, what is like your 3-year goal, your 5-year goal, personally and professionally?
Personally, I just literally, like, this is how I think. Literally every day, and I know it sounds cliche, every day I just try to be a little bit better than I was. Whether that's getting back to somebody, calling, texting, like being present. Like, I just want to be present, right? So, and if I'm present, I'm able to think, right? When people have jobs fogs up their brain. Like, when you have a job that's taxing on you, and you're doing so much, and you realize, like, damn, I just worked all of this long for somebody else's glory, right? So what I try to do now is just be present in the moment and kind of put myself and my family first, and prioritize the things that really give me joy and bring me joy. So that'll be my forever plan, is just doing things that bring me joy. Now, when it comes to business, within the next 3 years, I want to open up the Peace Center, the Ballin for Peace Center, where we can control our own narratives, right? We can, there's a lot of people who do certain things for no reason in particular. We have a reason. We want to build financial wealth. We want to have, like, empower these kids to know about financial literacy, and just having the option to have your own place, right? Where you can control your own narrative. And the Ballin for Peace Center, within the next 3 years, I hope to open that up. I've been looking for places and stuff like that, but like the biggest thing, with more, we can do more. You need financial backing. So we never really asked, but this year we put up a goal for even donations to give out more scholarships as well. And we're gonna put up one to open up a building as well too. So yeah, that's that.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with us. I hope you do get your building. Inshallah, you will have it. We will come to the grand opening.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, and I will see you next time, and maybe catch a game.
Nah, definitely. You guys are definitely invited June 14th. You know what I mean?
Okay.
John Jay College. Hope to see y'all there for our 9th annual celebrity charity basketball game, Ballin for Peace.
All right, well, we will be there, and hopefully you'll be there too. But if not, that has been this week's edition of Brunch with a Black Man.